Today we're diving into one of the most wild and wonderful times in a child's life, that incredible leap that happens between 6 and 12 months old. It's a time of just explosive growth, where it feels like everything is changing overnight. So let's get right into it.
I love this phrase because it just nails it, right? Your baby has left that sleepy newborn phase behind, but they're not quite a full-blown toddler yet. They're on this amazing developmental bridge, and it is a fascinating place to be.
So what exactly is this bridge? Well, think of it as this critical transition that's being fueled by some of the most rapid brain development they will ever experience. This is when they really start to wake up to the world, becoming so much more active, way more curious, and a whole lot more social.
Let's start with the most obvious changes, the physical ones. This is the stuff you can see happening right before your eyes. This is when your baby goes from being a little observer to an active explorer, and it all happens in just a few short months.
This right here is basically the journey to walking. Around 6 months, they're sitting up with a little help. Then, before you know it, they're sitting all on their own, maybe starting to crawl. Next up is pulling to stand, cruising along the coffee table, and then those unbelievable first steps right around their first birthday. Now, I have to say this is just a guide, not a rule book. Every single baby has their own unique timeline.
And it's not just about the big movements either. Just look at what's happening with their hands. At first, they've got that raking grasp. It's a little clumsy, but it works, where they pull stuff closer with their whole hand. But then something absolutely amazing happens. They develop that pincer grasp, using their thumb and forefinger to pick up tiny things with real precision. That is a massive leap in fine motor control.
So, if you've ever felt like you're going a little crazy because your baby is suddenly wanting to eat all the time, waking up more at night, or just wants to be held constantly, don't worry. These are the classic signs of a growth spurt. It can be tough for sure, but it's a totally normal signal that their little body and brain are working overtime. Okay, so while their body is mastering all this new movement, their mind is mastering connection. Let's shift gears and look at how communication and social bonds are taking off during this exact same period.
This is such a key concept to understand. There are two sides to language. You've got receptive language, that's what they understand, and it develops incredibly fast. They'll respond to their name and know what no means long before they can say any of it. Then there's expressive language, what they can actually say, which starts with those cute ba-ba and da-da babbles and might lead to a real word or two by their first birthday. The takeaway here is huge. They understand so much more than they can say.
This is one of those things that can really worry parents. Your baby, who used to be happy with anyone, suddenly gets wary of new faces. But as pediatrician Dr. Mahesh Yadav says here, this stranger anxiety isn't a bad thing at all. Actually, it's a fantastic sign that your baby has formed a super strong, healthy attachment to you. They know who their people are.
And this is where the fun really starts. Their little social personality just begins to blossom. They're forming these deep attachments, finding pure joy in games like peekaboo, and learning how to interact with the world by waving bye-bye and copying your funny faces. You're watching them become a little person. It's incredible.
So we've seen all the cool stuff they're learning to do. The crawling, the babbling, the waving. But why is it all happening so fast? Let's peek behind the curtain at the engine that's powering this whole transformation, their busy brain.
It's like a construction boom happening inside their head. First, the connections between brain cells are forming faster than they ever will again. At the same time, the brain's movement center, the motor cortex, is getting organized to coordinate all those new skills. Repetition is strengthening their memory circuits, and to top it all off, the social parts of their brain are firing up, laying the foundation for all their future emotions and relationships. It is a whirlwind of activity in there.
So, knowing all this incredible stuff is happening, what's our role as parents and caregivers? Well, the best news is that you don't need any fancy gadgets or complicated programs. It's really all about creating the right environment for them to thrive.
Here's a super simple playbook. On the do side, it's all about the basics. Give them tons of floor time to move and explore, talk and read to them constantly, and make sure their space is safe for their new adventures. The don'ts are just as critical. Try not to use walkers too much, don't force them to practice skills they're not ready for, and, this is a big one, please resist the temptation to compare your baby's journey to anyone else's.
Okay, let's tackle one of the biggest questions that I'm sure is on a lot of your minds. You see other babies on the move, and you start to wonder, hey, what about mine?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. It is absolutely normal. So take a deep breath. Some babies are bottom shufflers, some are rollers, and some just skip crawling completely and go right to pulling up and walking. It is not a required step on the path to walking.
All right, let's switch gears from moving to talking. This is another area that can cause a lot of anxiety for parents. What are the real signs you should look for when it comes to speech?
Now, this isn't about panicking. These are just gentle guidelines for when it might be a good idea to have a little chat with your pediatrician. So, you'd want to check in if there's no babbling by about 9 months, or if they haven't said one single, meaningful word by the 12 to 15-month mark. And the really crucial one here is if your baby ever loses a skill they once had.
And this quote right here really brings us to the most important takeaway from this whole explainer. If you remember one thing, let it be this. Stop focusing on the exact calendar date your baby hits a single milestone. Instead, just zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Are they growing? Are they interacting? Are they steadily gaining new skills? That is what truly matters.
This 6-month stretch is just what we called it, a bridge. It's a bridge to the next incredible chapter of toddlerhood. And by understanding what's happening on this journey, you're not just tracking milestones on a chart, you're appreciating the amazing foundation that's being built for all the learning and discovery that's yet to come.